So politics in any country are important. La política en cualquier país es importante, especially if it's a big country with a lot of influence in the world, especialmente si es un país grande con bastante influencia en el mundo. But in heavenly, eternal terms, en términos del cielo y de eternidad, not so much, no tanto. Hi guys, welcome to Crossfire. Hola chicos, bienvenidos a Crossfire. I hope you guys are doing well. Espero que estén bien. That the Lord is protecting you, que el Señor lo esté protegiendo, and that life is going y que la vida siga. Today we're going to continue our series on What Did Jesus Say? Hoy vamos a continuar nuestra serie sobre qué fue lo que Jesús dijo. I want to begin by asking you a question. Quiero comenzar haciéndote una pregunta. Have you ever seen a small child lose their mind over something that to you doesn't seem important? ¿Alguna vez has visto a un niño o una niña chiquita como perder la mente por algo que para ti no es tan importante? Have you maybe seen an elementary school kid get super worked up over recess being over? ¿Alguna vez has visto un niño chiquito de primaria como que volverse loco porque se acabó el recreo? Or as a high schooler, o siendo chico de segundo ciclo, have you ever seen a middle schooler lose it over something that to you isn't important? ¿Alguna vez has visto un niño de primer ciclo como que perdiendo la mente por algo que para ti no es importante? And if you're an adult, y si tú eres un adulto, have you ever seen a high schooler lose it over something that for you isn't important? ¿Alguna vez has visto un chico de secundaria como que perder la mente por algo que para ti no es importante? And if you're an adult in your early 20s, y si eres un adulto en tus 20s, as an adult in your late 30s, un adulto como de 30 y pico años, have you seen 20s people lose it over things that to you aren't important? ¿Alguna vez has visto una persona de 20 y pico años perder la mente por algo que no es importante? And if you're over 40 or 50, si tienes más de 40 o 50 años, that works too. Eso funciona también. If you ever spoken to a person in their late 80s, alguna vez has podido hablar con una persona mayor de edad, más de 80 y pico de años, their priorities are different. Sus prioridades son diferentes. What's important for them is completely different. Lo que es importante para ellos es completamente diferente. Considering all that they've lived through, considerando todo lo que han vivido, and how little they have left y lo poco que les queda. So, as believers in God and Jesus Christ, como creyentes en Dios y Jesucristo, we look forward to eternity. Nuestra meta es la eternidad. What is that going to be like? ¿Cómo va a ser eso? And how should that affect the way we live life on this side? ¿Y cómo debe afectar eso la forma en que vivimos la vida en este lado? Do you want to know? ¿Quieres saber? So when I was in high school, cuando yo estaba en la secundaria, the most important thing for me was being where the fun was. La cosa más importante para mí era estar donde estaba la diversión. I didn't want to miss out on parties, no me quería perder fiestas, experiencias, fun, diversión, and I would do everything. Y yo hacía todo lo posible to be where everybody else was, para estar donde todo el mundo estaba. And as a consequence, I wanted to fit in. Y como una consecuencia de eso, quería ser parte de eso. I would dress in a way that I would think would help me fit in. Me vestí de una forma que pensaba que me hacía ser parte del grupo. The jokes, the drinking, las bromas, la tomadera. It was all an attempt to not miss out on what I thought life was supposed to be. Todo fue un intento de no perderme de lo que yo pensaba que la vida tenía que ser. So I'm almost 42 right now, and that stuff's not important anymore. Tengo casi 42 años y eso ya como que no es importante. My priorities right now are my wife, my kids, mis prioridades son mi esposa, mis hijos, my relationship with God, mi relación con Dios, family, la familia, the ministry, el ministerio, you know, stuff like that, cosas así. I don't care about going to parties. No me importa ir a fiestas. I don't care about that kind of fun. No me importa ese tipo de diversión. So it's still me, sigo siendo yo, but pero la experiencia me ha mostrado que hay más, that there's more. And things that I thought were important, cosas que yo pensaba que eran sumamente importantes, super important, are not important right now. Ahora mismo no son importantes. So how about you? Do you remember a time when something was important that doesn't seem as important right now? ¿Alguna vez te recuerdas de algún momento cuando eras joven de algo que era importante en ese entonces que ahora no es importante? You may want to discuss that with your group. De repente quieres discutir eso con tu grupo. What was important back then that isn't important right now? ¿Qué era importante antes para ti que no es importante ahora? Maybe it was Christmas. I mean, Christmas is still super cool and awesome. La Navidad es super cool y genial todavía. But when I was 9, cuando yo tenía 9 años, Christmas was like the thing. Era la cosa más importante del universo. Like I would count months to Christmas. Yo contaba los meses para Navidad. My daughter has a calendar that's a month and a half until Christmas, que era como un mes y medio hasta Navidad. And every day she would mark a day by taking some rings off. Cada día ella marcaba el día quitando unos anillitos. It's super important for her. Es sumamente importante para ella. So this week on What Did Jesus Say, we land on a story. Esta semana, ¿en qué fue lo que dijo Jesús? Aterrizamos en una historia that presents an image of heaven that we may not fully understand. Jesús muestra una imagen del cielo que de repente no entendemos, no vamos a entender completamente. So where we're coming from and where we are. De dónde venimos y a dónde estamos. So first, Jesus told us to make disciples and make connections. Primero Jesús nos dijo que hiciéramos discípulos y hiciéramos conexiones. Then he told us that he was alive. Después nos dijo que él estaba vivo. Then he told us that it was the only way, his death was the only way for us to be restored with God. Después nos dijo que su muerte era la única forma de que nuestra relación con Dios fuera restaurada. And today he tells us what heaven looks like from a perspective, tiny little angle. De una perspectiva, de un ángulo muy pequeñito. He gives us a little peek into heaven. Nos da un pequeño vistazo al cielo. And it's hard to understand. Es un poco difícil de entender. It's hard to understand, just like it's hard to explain to a 9-year-old that Christmas isn't as important as they think it is. Es tan difícil de entender para nosotros como para nosotros explicarle a un niño de 9 años que la Navidad no es tan importante como él o ella piensan que lo son. So let's read today's passage. Vamos a leer el pasaje del día de hoy. So we're going to read from Luke 20, 34 to 38. And Jesus replied, "Marriage is for people here on earth. But in the age to come, those worthy of being raised from the dead will neither marry nor be given in marriage, and they will never die again. In this respect, they will be like angels. They are children of God and children of the resurrection." So the crazy thing about this, lo loco sobre esto, es que hace un par de días, a couple of days, a few days ago, hace unos cuantos días, I had a student ask me about this passage. Tuve un estudiante que me preguntó de este pasaje. And asked me, "So you're not going to be with Mrs. Sucre when you get to heaven?" Entonces no vas a estar con la señora Sucre cuando llegues al cielo. So why should I even be bothered getting married if we're going to be separated? ¿Por qué me debe importar casarme si me voy a separar? Is marriage something you're looking for? ¿El matrimonio es algo que estás esperando? Are you waiting? Do you want to get married? ¿Te quieres casar? Do you want to have a family? ¿Quieres tener una familia? Is it something like a goal in life that we all have? ¿Es como una meta o un objetivo en la vida que todos tenemos? So I love being married. A mí me encanta estar casado. I love my daughters. Amo a mis hijas. I love my family. Amo a mi familia. The idea of us being separated is crazy. La idea de estar separado es una locura. When I go on mission trips, cuando voy a viajes de misiones, and I'm away for like a week, y me voy como por una semana, it physically hurts to not be with them. Me duele físicamente no estar con ellos. So when I hear Jesus say that when we get to heaven, the marriage thing is done, cuando escucho que Jesús dice que cuando lleguemos al cielo esto de matrimonio va a estar, se acabó, I gotta be honest, the first time I heard it, quiero ser honesto, la primera vez que lo escuché, I was like, do I really want to be a part of that? ¿Realmente quiero ser parte de eso? How is that going to be great? ¿Cómo va a ser eso increíble? Like, I want to share heaven with my wife. Quiero compartir el cielo con mi esposa. Like, I want us to be together. Quiero que estemos juntos. What? Eso, what? I'm not trying to be offensive, no quiero ser ofensivo, but this is a legitimate question you have. Esta es una pregunta legítima que ustedes tienen. So then, there's something on the other side, algo en el otro lado, that we don't understand on this side, que no entendemos de este lado. It's like the idea of a small child and an adult, un niño chiquito y un adulto. This is the most adult telling us that what we think is important right now isn't that important on the other side. Que lo que pensamos que es importante ahorita mismo no es tan importante del otro lado. And then it uses an idea, y luego él muestra una idea. He uses an idea that would be like angels, que vamos a ser como ángeles. Now, I want us to go to 2 places in Scripture where we interact with angels, where humans interact with angels, to get an idea of where angels are at. Para tener una pequeña idea de dónde están los ángeles, like in their, I'm going to say mind, voy a decir su mente, in their interactions with us, en sus interacciones con nosotros. So let's look at a couple of passages. Vamos a ver un par de pasajes. So first, let's look at Joshua 5:13 to 15. When Joshua was near the town of Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a sword in his hand. Joshua went up to him and demanded, "Are you a friend or foe?" "Neither one," he replied. "I am the commander of the Lord's army." At this, Joshua fell with his face to the ground in reverence. "I am at your command," Joshua said. "What do you want your servant to do?" The commander of the Lord's army replied, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy." And Joshua did as he was told. So the first time I read this passage, la primera vez que leí este pasaje, the idea of an angel not introducing himself as a friend or a foe was shocking. La idea de que un ángel no se presentara como amigo o enemigo fue como un shock. I mean, it's very easy, es fácil. Are you with us or against us? ¿Estás con nosotros o en contra de nosotros? Are you a friend or enemy? ¿Eres mi amigo o mi enemigo? If you ask anybody that here, si tú en la tierra le preguntas a alguien, are you my enemy or my friend? ¿Eres mi enemigo o mi amigo? If you say I'm your enemy, si digo que soy tu enemigo, then it's clear, you're against me, estás en contra mía. If you say you're my friend, simple, you're with me, estás conmigo. But if you say neither, pero dices ninguna de las dos, we don't have a spot for that. No tenemos un espacio para eso. I can tell you that somebody right now in New Zealand who's never ever heard of me is neither my friend or my enemy, but because they don't know me, porque no me conocen. They don't know what I'm about. No saben de qué me trato. No saben mi situación. They don't know my alignment, my situation, but angels know everything. Los ángeles saben todo esto. So why would an angel say he's neither with us or against us? Porque un ángel diría que no está ni con nosotros ni en contra nuestra. Could it be possible that our little bickerings, sería posible que nuestras pequeñas peleitas, or our little fights, nuestras luchas, our situation here on this plane, nuestra situación en este plano, is completely irrelevant to them? Es completamente irrelevante para ellos. They're in another place. Ellos están en absolutamente otro lugar. And our wars, our politics, our drama, nuestra guerra, nuestra política, nuestro drama is of no relevance to them. Es completamente irrelevante. Because God's will is supreme. La voluntad de Dios es suprema. No one opposes God. Nadie se lo opone a Dios. So there is no good guys and bad guys. No hay chicos malos y chicos buenos. There's God, hay Dios, who is the supreme being, que es el ser supremo. The devil isn't an equal adversary to God. El diablo no es un adversario igual a Dios. The devil bows in front of God, like everything else. El diablo se arrodilla ante Dios como absolutamente todo. That's for God's level, el nivel de Dios. For our level, yes, we have all these things. En nuestro nivel tenemos todas estas cosas. So then this reveals that the angels have a grasp of something we don't. Los ángeles tienen algo, en un entendimiento, algo que nosotros no tenemos. About some other plane, sobre otro plano, where the relationships we hold as extremely important, donde las relaciones que nosotros tenemos como algo sumamente importante, at that level, a ese nivel, are not, no lo son. So let's read another passage. Vamos a leer otro pasaje. Numbers 22, 31 to 33, Números 22, 31 al 33. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the roadway with a drawn sword in his hand. Balaam bowed his head and fell to his face down to the ground before him. "Why did you beat your donkey those 3 times?" the angel of the Lord demanded. "Look, I've come to block your way because you're stubbornly resisting me. 3 times the donkey saw me and shied away. Otherwise, I would have certainly have killed you by now and spared the donkey." So in both these passages, en ambos estos pasajes, I know it's my opinion, es mi opinión, that there's a slight bit of annoyance coming from the angels. Hay como un pequeñito rasgo como de impaciencia de los ángeles. Like, como que, you know what I mean? I mean, I talked about this with the high school kids. Yo hablé esto con los chicos de secundaria. Sometimes you're in recess, when we had school, cuando estábamos en la escuela, you're in recess and you see like a little kid y ves a un niño bañado en sudor, covered in sweat, filled with cheese whiz, lleno de queso y comida, just running around with a gigantic book bag, corriendo con una maleta super grande. Ya no vamos a meter, friends like that, and they just run and they hit you, corren y como te pegan, and you're like, permiso, like, excuse me. It's because the stuff they're into, las cosas en las que ellos están, compared to the stuff you're dealing with, comparado con las cosas que tú estás lidiando, is like, oh my goodness, really? En verdad. And I don't mean there's no kinship, no estoy hablando de que no haya mi familiaridad, that there's no love and all that, que no hay amor ni todo eso, but It shows us that they know something we don't. Ellos saben algo que nosotros no sabemos. They see God. Ellos ven a Dios. They dwell in His presence. Ellos moran en su presencia. They're at the other place. Ellos están en el otro lugar. They're in His holy presence. Ellos están en su santa presencia. So when we go to the other side, cuando vayamos al otro lado, there's a possibility that it's like, you see, hay una posibilidad que vean y que, ¿estás viendo? Are we going to be like, oh, y vamos a estar como que, ah. So it's not about me wanting to have my wife and my family. No se trata de yo querer tener ahí a mi esposa y a mis hijos al lado mío, next to me. It's about I am going to be so fulfilled as a being, voy a estar tan lleno como ser, that I am going to be all about that, que yo voy a estar haciendo eso. And so will my wife, y también mi esposa, and so with my children when and if they choose to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Y también mis hijas, cuando, si alguna vez ellas deciden tener una relación con Jesucristo. It becomes this thing that we can't understand, but we've given a glimpse of. Es una cosa que no podemos entender ahorita mismo, pero que se nos ha dado como un vistazo y un pantallazo. Now, what does that have to do with anything we're going through today? ¿Qué tiene que ver eso con todo lo que estamos pasando ahorita mismo? Whatever stuff is going on right now, lo que esté pasando ahorita mismo, lo que sea que esté pasando ahorita mismo, politically, políticamente, históricamente, personalmente en tu vida, it is important, es importante. But if we, for a minute, si por un momentito, we look at the big picture of eternity, miramos la imagen grande de la eternidad, it's not the most important thing going on right now. No es lo más importante pasando ahorita mismo. You missing your graduation is enormous. Que tú te pierdas tu graduación es enorme. But in light of eternity, pero en luz a la eternidad, it's not the most important thing right now. No es lo más importante ahorita mismo. That your political party wins or loses, que tu partido político gane o pierda. That a country does this or that, que un país haga esto o lo otro. That a law passes or not passes, que pase una ley, que no pase una ley. It's important for you right now, and for me, es importante para nosotros ahorita mismo. But in the light of eternity, en la luz de la eternidad, it's not that important. No es tan importante. So what are you going to do about it? ¿Qué vas a hacer tú al respecto? What does this mean for you? ¿Qué significa esto para ti? How are you going to change? ¿Cómo vas a cambiar? I want to invite you to spend time in your small group talking about this. How is this going to change the way you live your life? The eternal, lo eterno. ¿Cómo va a cambiar eso tu vida? What changes are you going to make in the way you live your life? ¿Qué cambios vas a hacer en la forma en que vives tu vida? Jesus is telling you and me today, Jesús nos está diciendo a ti ahorita mismo that we got to look at big picture. Tenemos que ver a la imagen grande. We have to look at the eternal because that's where we're going to be. Tenemos que mirar a lo eterno porque ahí es donde vamos a estar. So let's pray. Vamos a orar. God, thank you for this day. Señor, gracias por este día. Thank you for your love. Gracias por tu amor. I pray that you speak to us today in our small groups to talk about eternal things. Que nos hables hoy en el grupo pequeño para hablar de cosas eternas. Thank you for creating a place for us. Gracias por crear un lugar para nosotros that we can call home, que podemos llamar nuestro hogar. We love you, Jesus. Te amamos, Jesús, and it's your name we pray. Y en tu nombre oramos. Amén. All right, guys, thank you for joining us today. Gracias por estar con nosotros en el día de hoy. And just stay tuned for some announcements. Quédate con nosotros para unos anuncios. Hasta luego. Goodbye.
What's up, friends? ¿Qué sopa, chicos? It's me again. Soy yo otra vez. This was week 4 of our What Did Jesus Say series. Esta fue la semana 4 de nuestra serie ¿Qué dijo Jesús? We're praying for you still. We're praying that it inspires change in your life, that it blesses you. Todavía estamos orando por ustedes. Estamos orando de que estas charlas sean de bendición y que inspiren cambio en sus vidas. And I've got the same 2 announcements I always have for you. Tengo los mismos 2 anuncios que siempre tengo para ustedes. Número 1, small groups tomorrow, small groups mañana. If you haven't been going, si no has estado yendo, we invite you to come. Te invitamos a que vengas. Just send us a DM and we'll get back to you. Solo mándanos un mensaje y te responderemos con un grupo. If you have a friend you want to invite, si tienes un amigo que quieres invitar, o una amiga que quieres invitar, invite them, invítalos. They're more than welcome to come. Están más que bienvenidos o bienvenidas a venir también. And segundo, we're here for you. Seguimos acá para ustedes. If you have anything you need prayer for or support with, si tienes cualquier cosa por la que necesitas ayuda o apoyo, just let us know and we'll be praying for you for that. Solo déjanos saber y estaremos orando por ustedes por eso. And that'll be it for this week. Eso sería todo para esta semana. We love you guys. We miss you guys. We can't wait to get back together. Los amamos, los extrañamos. No podemos esperar a estar juntos otra vez. But for now, pero por ahora, stay safe, stay connected. Quédate a salvo y quédate en casa.